Welcome to the Triple RS podcast with me, Ashna Takhtani, here to let you know that no matter what you face in life, you are not alone. We do this through a safe, judgment-free community where we share relatable stories for relatable students from relatable scenes. Everyone, everything's fun in the golden yellow sun. Yes, indeed, and welcome to our first ever guest episode. Well, she doesn't really require an introduction because she is just that great. But you know what? I'll say it anyways. She's an incredible professional who holds qualifications as a chartered accountant and a degree in law. She started her own company and now she runs an award-winning company with over 50 people. And she's also a partner at an auditing firm, which is now present in over 8 countries, some of which are the US, UK, India, and 2 offices are in Dubai alone. And guess what? With a dedicated commitment spanning over 20 years, she has applied her expertise to support small and medium-sized entities on a global scale. But that's not all. In addition to her professional accomplishments, she is a passionate advocate for gender equality and women empowerment, and she has partnered with a charitable organization called Nani Kali, which supports girls' educations, 100 girls to be precise. And best of all, guys, this incredible lady is none other than my own mom. So please welcome our first ever guest on the Triple R's podcast, and I will be biased to say the best one ever, Arshi Kaura.
Thank you for such an amazing introduction. It felt very good listening all that from your own daughter. So I'm very privileged that I'm doing your first episode, and I wish you all the good luck. God bless you with your podcast and all the other ventures that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I can't believe it. First of all, I still am unable to process that I have started this podcast. But I think the best part is the fact that I can share this with you. That just makes it 10 times better.
I know your commitment, your dedication. Even I feel, when you started speaking about podcast and from that thought to actual execution, you spoke to so many people, you got, inputs from everybody, you're learning, you start from that level where, you are doing it from the scratch, and the way you pick it up, the way you grasp things, the way you do the research. So it's all actually very, very inspirational.
Thank you, Mama. You don't say this on a day-to-day basis. I think I should have you on the podcast more. And that was a joke. Let's dive straight into what our episode is all about. What's the deal with affirmations, and do they really work? Now, the reason I picked my mom for this podcast is because she has, and one of the people that I know, and I know quite a few people, just to say, but she is one of the people that has such a great experience with affirmations, in a sense that pretty much everything in her life is something that she has affirmed. So before we get into our episode, we're going to play a little game of true or false. Today's story is quite personal, really. I would not have been born had it not been for affirmations. Just think about that. Lock in your answers. What do you think it is? I'm saying it's false. All right, but you can, obviously you're going to have to listen to the rest of this episode to find out if it really is false, or maybe it's true, or whatever it is. So lock in your answers right now, write them down somewhere, maybe post them on Instagram, or just message me what you think it is for today's episode. All right, so now let's actually get into our episode, right?
Now I can talk.
Affirmations. So I think the first question is, do they really work? Now with this whole at least the side of Instagram that I'm on, everyone is saying, oh, yeah, you can manifest your dream life, you can manifest this and that and that. But does it actually work, or are they just doing it for the clicks and the follows? What is your take on this? What is your experience?
See, nowadays, as you said, everybody talks about affirmations and all. Probably when we were doing it, I didn't know that the word is affirmations. And to answer it, whether it works or not, it is the faith. Do you have the faith? If your faith says yes, it will work for you. And as I said, when we were doing it, as you said, I am living my life of affirmation. I'm living what I affirmed. I'm living what I thought I will live like. So from the very moment I conceived the idea that I'm going to speak about this, or I want this. So what affirmations for me back then was praying. Mm-hmm. You pray. But when I'm praying, I'm not praying with a doubt. I'm praying with the faith that my God is listening, or my higher power is listening, and it will happen. So that these days everybody's calling is affirmations. So yes, they definitely work if you have the faith. If you're doubting it, if you're testing it, then I don't know, because I've never done that. So for me, if your faith is yes, they definitely work. They work beautifully.
And why do you think they work? Not, obviously, you mentioned faith and having like utmost faith, but what do you think is the science behind that? How do you think that works? Just from your own perspective, obviously. I don't know.
Yeah, for example, say very little thing. I want something. I'll start praying or thinking about it. I'll start to give those thoughts that I want this, I want. Then the next thought will be, so it's not only just by saying it, it's going to automatically happen. You need to, complement it with the actions. So suppose I want good grades in my school. So I say, I want good grades, I want good. So what is the next step? You start studying, you start working hard, you start taking, coaching, you start taking whatever is required, you start to do that. And once you're doing it and you basically, I believe affirmations is not for somebody else, it's for you. You are telling yourself that I want this, I need this, and I'll do whatever it takes. So when you do that, that is the basic science behind it, that over and over again, you are thinking about it and you're doing what is required, and you're keeping the faith that maybe not immediately, but over a period of time, it will come true.
And I think that is the one thing that people seem to forget, and that is the actual action step of it. They just think that, oh, if I have this down on my vision board, which I'm not saying doesn't work. I have my own vision board. I made that. I write this stuff down, But I think the action part is what people forget. Like, manifestation and affirmations are powerful, but if you don't actually throw in some work behind it, then it's like a gun that's not loaded.
I think another thing what stops them from acting is they start to analyze how will this happen. For example, you may have heard stories that people write down that I want $1 million in my bank account. Okay. And then they don't do what is required to get $1 million, but they start to think, how will I get it? From where will I get it? And that process, they don't take it as a motivation to get the ideas what to do to get $1 million, but to cut it down as to, oh, it's not possible. Oh, it's not possible. Oh, it's not possible. So it will not be possible. So I say I will get $1 million in 2024. And alongside what I will be doing to make that $1 million, how I will get it is not your problem. So don't get into hows. Hows as in, do your work, do what is required, take action, keep taking action with the faith that it will happen. It may happen on 31st December 2024. Rest 365 days, it may not happen. But you have to continue what is required to be done. But don't get into how and, where will I get the money from? Oh, this is not working. Oh, that is not working. No, that is not your problem. What do you want? You need to do to get it. That's it.
I think what some people might be struggling with is basically said, don't think about how, but you said take action. Now my question is, how do you know what action to take without thinking about how it's going to happen?
So what I meant by how is, so basically it is, will it happen? It's not how, that whether it will happen or not, that is how. Action part is separate. So actions you need to, for example, as I said, simply, so suppose somebody makes a goal that I want to make $1 million in 2024. What is required? Maybe if you need to think of revenue streams, you need to think of how you will make the income. If you talk about good grades, you need to start working hard. You need to start reading. You need to put in, suppose there are hours that you are just scrolling your Instagram. You need to stop that and put in those hours for studies. So those kind of things you need to do. Plus plan, strategize, and as I always say, keep thinking about what you want. For me, personally, that is prayer. I do it all the time. And there are days when I am not 100%. There are days when I am having bad days. So what do I do in those days? I still pray. And I pray harder. That, okay, I meditate a lot. So those things also play a very, very vital role. And it's from where you can, take out what actions you need to take.
I think from a personal experience, that whole how thing that you mentioned, I think I start thinking about that stuff when it's been a while. Like, I might say that I'm a patient person, but when it comes to this
Everybody
stuff,
does.
I get really, really impatient. Like,
it's not happening.
It's not happening.
Yeah,
I think that's when you think, how or is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? So I think you're right. In those cases, don't think about will it or will it not? If you have that belief, then just take the action that you said you were going to take. Just do it one step at a time, and then just know that it is going to happen. It's just going to happen at its own time.
Sometimes fake it till you make it. Like suppose things are not going the way you want them to go. Don't give up at that time. Keep the faith on the higher power that this will happen. I have experienced miraculous stories. I have experienced many things.
Regarding the other stories, like I said, you have affirmed pretty much everything in your life. And I find that to be so incredible and so, it's just amazing. So do you mind sharing maybe one of those stories?
Okay, I think I'm very blessed. Again, gratitude is very important. I'm very, very blessed, and I'm so grateful to the higher power that, as you said, I am living what I affirmed for. I think right from the kind of partner I wanted, the kind of kids I wanted, and even the kind of life I wanted after having you. After you were born, before that I was working in an organization, and it was very cool. Everything was cool. But after you were born, I visualized, or I never wanted to have a full 7 to 7 kind of a shift. I was very clear in my mind that I want to be with my child all the time. But because I want to do something professionally as well. So I wanted a best combination of both the worlds. And back then, I'm talking in 2009, there was no concept of work from home here in this part of the world. So I tried a lot. I, approached many companies, but there was no work from home concept that I could click with. So then I started my own company, and that's how I wanted that. I want to be in office as well. I want to be with my child as well. Again, my concept that after some years, I want to just work half day. So now you do see, I just work half day. So I leave the office in the afternoon. I pick you guys. I come home. It's not that I switch off. I keep working. I keep doing things. But that's exactly how I wanted. And there was somewhere thought process where when I was growing up as well, that I want to work with my husband, I want to work with my life partner. And actually, everything was going fine. But then one day, daddy decides that he wants to join the company, and he joined us as well. So overall, yeah, this is how exactly I wanted, and that's how it is happening.
Incredible. That you have told me the story actually of how many times. You might want to share the whole blue bracelet thing.
Okay, all right.
That's so cute.
So again, I had this in my mind. I made this notion that the guy whom I'm going to be marrying, he'll be proposing me with a blue bracelet. So actually, on one of my birthdays, proposed me, and he actually gave me a blue bracelet. So the moment I saw the bracelet, for a minute, I could not believe my eyes. I could not believe that he's actually doing with a blue bracelet. So yeah, that is also one of the very cute stories, and the kind of life partner I wanted, he is exactly like that. So
why blue bracelet?
It was a movie. It was a Shah Rukh Khan's movie, and I don't even recall where. I don't remember everything right now. But yes, in my mind, it was a blue bracelet, and he did give me that, and he proposed, and it was dream come true.
That's so cute. So affirmations really do work.
Now, whatever name you want to call it faith, you want to call it prayer, whatever you want to call it, it's on the person who's praying. If the person praying thinks it will work, it will work. And then there are some attributes, like as I said, gratitude is very important.
That's actually what I wanted to get into. Why gratitude? What does gratitude have anything to do with affirmations or making them work? Does being grateful make them work better, or?
See, I'll do an exercise with you on that. Okay. For example, you are giving me a gift. I know you like taking gifts, but in this case, you give me a gift to understand how they actually work. Okay. Suppose you gave me a gift.
Got it.
Okay. And I say, what did you give me? The other person has a better gift. You gave her better than me. I didn't like it. How does that make you feel?
Pretty bad.
So next time, suppose for New Year or Christmas, you have to buy something for me. What will you think buying that for me?
Probably not much.
You won't be excited. You won't think that I should put any thought to the gift. It's the same thing with universe, higher power. So whatever they have given you, first of all, be happy for that. Be thankful for that. That's how the person giving will feel that the person is appreciated. This is my thought process. Okay, this is how I think. So whatever I have today, if I'm grateful for that, God is going to give me, or higher power or universe is going to give me multifolds of that. If I'm cribbing, unhappy, first of all, the vibes around me will be not good. I'll not be happy. You who's giving me gift will not be happy. Similar situation as the universe. Universe will not be happy. They will, or next time they are not going to put thought into it. Whatever we do, she is not appreciating. So give her anything. But if I'm saying thank you very much, I just love my home, I love my family, I love my office, I love the people I'm working with, I love my clients. So, and I love how I'm getting clients. So universe will keep giving me more, more and more because I'm appreciating that.
And by the way, my next episode will actually dive into the science behind all of this. So you are right. Gratitude is such an important part because not only is it that way in the way you explained with humans, but it is also that way with the universe. And I think the most important part of that was the vibes. You know, it's what we all live off of nowadays. You can just tell if someone is nice or not or deserving of a gift through vibes. And as ridiculous as this may sound as of now, the universe does the same thing, right? Because it's all the vibes. It's our aura. It's what kind of, I think, is the frequency that we emit that is then picked up or thrown into the universe that we put out there.
Emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we say like, if you want a healthier life, a healthier lifestyle, right? But you're like, I hate my body. Unless you actually love yourself first, you will not be able to change anything about that.
When we were growing up, all these fancy names, I'm not aware if they existed back then, but this is how my grandmother, my mom, they will tell us, be thankful to God for what you have. And I'll say, but mommy, I want this. First be thankful and then keep praying. This is what we were told, and never say anything wrong. So my mom used to say, always say good things. Always say positive, always speak positive, emit positivity, even if you're not liking it. So just keep those vibes on. Be thankful to God, be thankful to the higher self, and then keep asking what you want. You will get it.
I love this. I think we spoke about earlier, how sometimes we come into thinking about how it's going to happen, right? So I guess that goes into a little bit of doubt. Did you ever doubt the effectiveness of affirmations?
There are days, but what is stronger in my mind is that I don't know whether people listening believe in God, don't believe in God. So whatever name you want to give it, I have a very, very, very strong things in me, imbibed in me, that my God is with me. I am protected by my God. Whatever I want, my God is going to give me. So there are days when I'm not feeling motivated. There are days when I'm not feeling happy. Or there are days when what I wanted didn't happen. But that I don't let that affect my faith. So I'm not saying, that particular number 4 affirmation is not going to work. I don't say like that. So I just say, I speak to my God sometimes, or whatever you want to call it, universe, you want to call it higher power. I have conversations. So I think that is what is meditation. Meditation is when you start to hear from the higher power or your own self. So for example, I wanted something, say I wanted a particular client, that didn't happen. So I'm going to have a conversation like this. You know how much I wanted that thing, but you didn't give me yet. I am trusting you that you're going to give me something better than this is coming for me. So I'm trusting you. So I kind of, put it on the God or the universe that you haven't done this, what I asked, but I have faith that you're going to give me better than this. So I'll continue doing what is required to be done. You do your part.
I think the word yet is so powerful. And even acceptance, it's something that we really dug quite deep into our last episode, because unless you accept that, okay, what I wanted hasn't exactly happened, but it's okay, because I know that it is going to happen.
Faith.
It may not happen the way I want it to, but I know it's going to happen. And if it hasn't happened like this, then it's going to be even better.
Better, yeah. So not necessarily what you're asking is the best thing for you. So you just have to trust. I was told whatever is happening for your good. So whatever happens for the best. You must have heard me say that as well.
That's my favorite saying.
Yeah. So whatever happens for the best. That is nothing but showing trust on God, in universe, that okay, if it is not happening what I wanted, then something better is coming and it will come.
So true.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we've seen how effective affirmations are for you. We've obviously looked into why you think so, and you kind of factor it on gratitude being the most important part, right? Now, what does your daily affirmation routine look like, and how do you stay consistent? Because when obviously I was introducing you, you've done a lot, right? And you never stop. You never stop. You keep going, right? And so obviously life gets busy. You just kind of get wrapped up in all that. So how do you stay consistent in your routine, and what is that routine?
Like we all have as a family, a rule, you can call it, this thing that before the new year starts, we write our goals. Wherever we go for the new year, we make sure that we allocate a time and we write our goals. And we start that exercise much in advance so that there is a brief already in everybody's mind and we just jot down the goals over there. So from those goals and the fears, very important, I make up my affirmations. More or less, they're always the same, except there is a new goal added. For example, health will always remain as a goal. So there will be some affirmation connected to it. For example, if I give you example, I was unable to, I tried personal trainers, I tried gym, I was unable to reduce even, half a kg. So then I figured out what needs to be done. Maybe I need to cut down on sugar. And you know how much I love sugar. I am a sweet tooth. So what I started telling myself is, I don't enjoy sugar that much. I don't enjoy sweet tea with sugar. So I started saying that I don't enjoy this. This is not something my favorite anymore. I don't love it. And having tea without sugar is more beneficial for me. And I love it. So I started saying that, and that will remain probably my lifelong affirmation. Because with that, I could reduce almost 8 kgs. Yeah. So those kind of things will remain consistent. Apart from that, suppose I have a new goal added, a new fear added, then I will mold my affirmations accordingly. Now, coming back to the question, when I do that, normally, like for example, I have a routine of doing morning walk. Earlier, I used to do it alone. I used to cycle around the lake. So I will put my phone and my affirmations on. I have a video that I listen to, plus I have written affirmations. So what I'll do is I'll put it in my schedule somewhere. For example, when I come to pick you, I will try to be there 20 minutes or 10 minutes before. I'll put my phone on silent. I'll write down my affirmations. I'll say those affirmations to me along with my gratitude journal. So it's not necessarily I have to do it in the morning only, wherever I find, but it has to be a dedicated time. If I say, for example, I don't know when is that time will never come. I have to say, okay, that time is when I come to pick kids before that, or that time is when I go for morning walk, I will do my affirmations, or before bedtime. Like these days, a new thing me and your daddy have started is we start to write our gratitude journal and write our affirmations before we go to sleep. So something which suits your routine, put it over there, and don't make it like a chore. Don't make it like a task. You have to be in the right frame of mind. You have to be in the right emotions, and then you should do it. But dedicate a time that, okay, after I come back from school or before I go to bed, after I brush my teeth, before I go to bed, 10 minutes is for this. That's how you should do it.
And I think you're right. If until and unless you actually allocate a specific period of time in your day, in your schedule, it's not gonna come. You're just gonna lose track of time, and that is so easy, especially nowadays.
And it is okay if some days you can't do it. There are days when I miss it. I'm not saying I'm rigid like a machine. Life happens. There are some things which take priority. Suppose you're not well, Ahana is not well, I myself not well. So what we do in that case is not that, oh, I'm failing on that. It's okay. It's fine. So it is not that if you're missing on few things, some of the days, it's gonna break the habit. It's okay. You have to be consistent on most of the days. So that's fine if you miss it.
Now, in terms of affirmations, you said that you write them down, right? And you have a video. So do you mind sharing what those specific affirmations are, or how do you come up with them? Because you mentioned something about fears. So how do you use, because affirmations is what we want to be, right? So how do you use your fears to create your affirmations? How does that work?
For example, if I speak in like kids' language, suppose one of your affirmation is to get good grades in maths. And at the same time, you have a fear that I'm not good in maths. So you have to take this sentence out of your mind, the fear, write down your fear. So I have 3 parts: gratitude, fears, affirmations, actions. 4 things. So in your fears, write down, I'm scared of maths. Now, that is not to be repeated. once you wrote that down, make an affirmation out of it. I love maths. Okay. So from there, you say, I love maths. For example, in my case, I told you, I loved sugar, but I had to cut it down. So I will say, I don't love sugar. But my fear was, I cannot give up sugar. So from there, I made an affirmation. From there, next step is you make an action. What is the action? I'll practice maths. Like that. This is the simplest of the example that's coming to my mind.
And I think that is such a good way of doing that, because what happens most of the time is with these affirmations, right? Or when we manifest things, we don't even realize it, but we are self-sabotaging, right? And that just stops us from getting what we want.
And what actually stops you is fears.
The fact that we haven't, I think, really looked into or even understood or accepted our fears is I think, what?
So acknowledge your fears, write them down, but again, with the faith that universe or God is going to take your fears away, because he's going to give you a direction which will align to your goals.
Right. And now one of the last, I think the last question, and I'm so sad that we're going to have to wrap this up so soon.
I'm enjoying it so much.
I know,
it's like
me
such
too.
a good mother-daughter bond. I'm loving the conversations.
What advice would you give to someone who is new to affirmation? So we looked at like what are the common mistakes people make, and we said that was self-sabotaging, so not addressing their fears before they actually write down their affirmations, and even not taking action on it. So we said those were some of the common mistakes people made. Now, what advice would you give to someone who is starting this out for the first time?
First and foremost, don't think it as a chore. It is not a chore. It has to be your style of living, and you already are doing it. Whether you know it or not, you are already doing it. Everybody has some notions, and you'll see some notions, some thoughts, and you'll see those thoughts taking shape in your life. So everybody's already doing it. You just have to give it a bit of direction to make it or to get it what you want. Okay. So first of all, address your fears. Write down things. I know kids your age are more into, apps and all those things. But I am old school. I still love writing with my pen and paper. And so write down and start with your fears. First and foremost, write down your gratitude, because that will take you into good vibration. That will make you feel happy about things around you, about things that you already have. Then write down your fears. Again, when you're writing down your fears, the purpose of that is not to get scared of them. Write down your fears with the faith that these are going to go away.
So acceptance.
And then any form you want to call it, a prayer, an affirmation that this is what I want, or a goal. And then what do you need to do to get that goal? Action. What action I have to take. And then don't worry about, it's like, you must have read or heard at many videos or many places that once you give an order to the waiter, you don't go after the waiter to the kitchen. Oh, how are you preparing the food? By what time you're going to bring the food? You give the order and you relax and chat with your friends. You're chilling with your friends because you have a faith that food is coming. It's the same way. Give the order and have a faith that that is coming.
That is so beautiful. Wow, you're just so wise. I don't know what to say. And I think I'd like to add one last thing that you say quite a lot. And it's, don't go around and just because it works for someone else, it's going to work for you. And honestly, that's the one thing I love about affirmations so much, is that you can personalize them. Because yes,
should be personalized. You should connect with, they're your affirmations, your prayer. You can't copy paste.
Yeah. So if you are starting out for the first time, it probably won't be your first time, because like you said, you're doing it, whether you know it or not. But if you are consciously doing it for the first time, then while Instagram and TikTok and YouTube may present many different forms, you have to choose the one that connects with you, because affirmations are supposed to be personal. And until and unless you personalize them and you connect with them, it is not going to work. Because in order for them to work...
Sometimes, no, Ashna, it is okay if you're not connecting few days. I mean, you don't take it harsh on you. Oh, I'm not connecting. What is connecting? What is the definition of connecting? That it has to come from the heart, and you want it, it'll happen. That is connection.
And sometimes there doesn't even have to be quite literally like a format for that it has to be like this, otherwise it's not going to work. The sky's not going to light up, and you're not going to have some like angelic music in the background when you finally connect. And that's it. Can you believe it? We finished our first ever guest episode. Well, we're actually yet to finish, because guess what? True or false time. So, I'm just going to give a little recap into what the story was before. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to just lock in your answer, all right? On Instagram, maybe message me, maybe post in your stories and tag me. This is what my answer was, right? And this is the story. So pay attention, everybody. I would not have been born if it were not for affirmations. I'm saying this is false. But today, my mom, our incredible guest, our first guest ever at the Triple RS podcast, will tell us what really happened. Is it true or is it false? So what is it?
Yeah, if it was not for affirmations, it's nothing short of miracle that you were born. So yes, the answer is true. When I was pregnant with you, within first month, I got chickenpox. And apparently it is very dangerous to get chickenpox in the first trimester. And everybody around me, even some of my relatives, they had experiences, and then my gynecologist, and then my own auntie who was a gynecologist, very famous gynecologist in India, they all are telling me that it's not, safe to go ahead with this pregnancy. Then me and your father, we sat down and we meditated, and we kind of got an answer, both of us separately doing it, but we got same answer, that go ahead. And then we both decided that we want to go ahead irrespective of what the world is saying. There was only one doctor. She said that there is a fair chance that it might be okay. Apart from that person, me, your dad, and the doctor, everybody around, even my own mom, she was like, it's okay. You are very young. You can, discontinue, come back, blah, 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 blah. Then I said, no, mom, I want to continue. I want to go ahead because I have faith, and I'm going to pray harder. You may call it affirmations, prayers. And I know that whatever will happen for my best. And we went ahead with it. And I think I have told you, your father took out the pages of the books I used to read. So wherever it says chickenpox, he had taken out those pages from the books that I was reading. I stopped meeting people who are going to remind me constantly about chickenpox and what can happen. So I cleaned my environment, and I used to meditate, I used to pray a lot, and always think positive thoughts that everything is going to be beautiful. I'm going to get a beautiful child. And it actually came true, and not only that you when you were born, I was like, everything is fine. I was very happy. From that moment, I got a new direction for my profession as well. So that's when I decided that I'm going to have my own company. I'm going to start as an entrepreneur because I want to be with my child. And I'm so grateful to God, to your father, to everything around that we sat down that day and took the decision, which everybody around was saying is a wrong decision. But we had faith. We prayed a lot. We constantly believed that everything is going to be fine. And it turned out to be fine. So, yeah.
So no matter what kind of situation you're going through in life, and I think this is the whole purpose of the Triple RS podcast, whether it is what you just said, whether it is something that you're unsure about in your professional life or even in school. I mean, I know for a fact that so many of my friends are unsure about what subjects we should pick, what's going to happen in our life. It's all going to be okay. What you need to have is the faith on the higher power in the universe. Just say those affirmations that I'm going to be okay. Whatever I choose to do will turn out fine. Personalize your affirmations and never forget to take action, because without action, it is not possible. So belief, have that faith, the affirmations, positivity always, and that action. Those three things, and you will be set for life. Thank you so much, Mama, for coming on to...
I'm so happy, and I can't believe I'm actually doing it with you. And
it is a very emotional episode for...
I'm again grateful to God, very, very grateful that I got you. And
and I'm super grateful to you for coming onto this episode, and thank you everyone who decided to tune in today. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. Tell us how you felt about it. Let us know. Let me know on Instagram. And obviously, if you have something that you were struggling with, or I don't know, a fear or whatever it is that you just need help or advice with, or you just want to talk about, DM me on Instagram, let me know, and we can share it on the Triple R's podcast. But remember, it's all going to be anonymous because you and me together, we are going to change this world one episode at a time. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure to follow, and so the next time I do post, you get a notification. Make sure to share this with your friends, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.